Guys, hi guys, back again. Jamie here for Football Heaven 24/7. You can catch me on it's actually Footy Nut 80 for my channel. If you want to like and subscribe to it. I'm going to continue my review of previous Premier League seasons in tribute to the 30th anniversary of the Premier League this season. We're currently up to the 22-23 season in the current world. But many years ago, we're going back to a time in 2009-2010 season, which was basically the last previous three seasons. Manchester United had won 2006, 7, 7 and 8, and 2008, 9. Manchester United had won three titles on the bounce. It had never been done before in the Premier League era, and it's never been done since. Many teams have come close. Well, a few teams have come close. Manchester City have come close. Actually, I think it's only Manchester City that have come close, winning two back to back twice, I think. But anyway, we go into the 2010 9-10 season, and Chelsea come back on top. They've got a new manager. Carlo Ancelotti is the manager in the 2009-10 season for Chelsea, and they win this season. They finished top, but only by 1 point. They finished with 86 points. Manchester United finishing second with 85. Arsenal finishing third with 75 points. Excuse me, and Tottenham Hotspur finishing in fourth place with 70 points. But looking at the fifth place, Manchester City are there. So you can see Manchester City's progress bit by bit over the last few seasons happening. Much the same as Chelsea's was as they were building up to the period just before Jose Mourinho took them over, to win those two titles back to back in 2004-5 and 5-6. So we're looking at this steady, gradual build up of Manchester City coming to the level that people are going to expect because of the investment that's obviously been put into that team. So from basically Saudi Arabian owners. Anyway, so Chelsea win the title. The one thing to note, even though they only won by 1 point, was that they scored a hell of a lot of goals. Now, this feat would be nearly matched in the future by Manchester City, but they basically scored 103 goals in the season, Chelsea, and they let in 32. They had a goal difference of plus 71, which is absolutely fantastic. The top goal scorer, no surprises, was the signing they got from a few seasons previous, Didier Drogba. He had 29 goals. In second place was the ever improving Wayne Rooney in his, I believe, fourth season with Manchester United. He scored 26 goals in second. Darren Bent of Sunderland scored 24 goals, and Carlos Tevez, a new signing for Manchester City, had 23 goals. Carlos Tevez had made consequently at the start of this 2009-10 season, had made a massive move from Manchester United, where he'd won lots of things. He'd won a few titles and other cups, and they won a European Cup. He moved from Manchester United to Manchester City. So here we could see Manchester City now flexing their muscles as they're starting to build a team that's going to be strong enough in the future to challenge for titles. So, but as I say, Chelsea won this season. They paid 24.65 million for Carlos Tevez, Manchester City, to get him playing for them. And it paid off. He got 23 goals in his first season. So he done fantastic. As I say, Man City finished fifth. But in the relegation places, Burnley, Hull, and Portsmouth went down. West Ham missed out on getting relegated by 5 points. So they nearly were down there at 1 point, but they managed to pull away towards the end. In the team of the year, Joe Hart emerged as the goalkeeper that was the best that season. Although I'm not sure whether that's right or not. So that's for Manchester City. In Chelsea's defence, it was Branislav Ivanovic, a newish signing for Chelsea at the time. Thomas Vermaelen, I can't even say his name right. It was kind of a newish signing for Arsenal as well. Richard Dunn of Aston Villa, Patrice Evra of Manchester United. In the midfield, it was Antonio Valencia. He'd only been playing for Man United for a few seasons. Cesc Fabregas, up and coming youngster over the last few seasons for Arsenal. Darren Fletcher of Manchester United and James Milner of then Aston Villa. And then up front, Wayne Rooney and Didier Drogba for Manchester United and Chelsea respectively, mainly because they were the two top goal scorers of the season. So the longest winning run was held by Arsenal and Chelsea, who both won 6 games on the bounce. The biggest win of the season was Tottenham smashing Wigan 9-1. unbelievable. I think Jermaine Defoe, if memory serves me right, got 5 goals in that game. I think that was right, 5 goals or 4. Longest unbeaten run, 12 games, was 12 games by Birmingham City, believe it or not, who finished ninth that season. Longest winless run was 14 games by Sunderland, who ended up finishing 13th. Longest losing run was 7 games by Portsmouth, who finished rock bottom of the Premier League and got relegated. After a number of seasons, to be fair, where they've been up, Portsmouth had been up in the Premier League since 2003-04, so they had a lot of good seasons under the tutelage of Harry Redknapp for most of them, and I think also Tony Adams was in charge for a little while as well. So anyway, that was that for that. Highest attendance, obviously Manchester United again. We know, as I always say in the previous episodes, because they have the highest capacity out of all the teams in the country. 75,316 against Stoke for Man United for the highest attendance. Lowest attendance was at Wigan again, 14,323 in their game versus Portsmouth. Average attendance for the season was 34,150. This season, there was the most goals scored so far in all the Premier League campaigns up until that point. It was 1,053 goals in 380 games. That was an average of 2.77. So not even that far off it being 3 goals a game. So it was a really impressive season. As I say, Chelsea scored a lot of goals. They scored 103 goals this season. Manchester United scored 86 goals and Arsenal scored 83. And even Man City, who finished at 5th, had scored 73. So there was a lot of teams doing a lot of good attacking football. I remember particularly that this season that Chelsea won the title, they had a lot of good wins. Although Tottenham, finished with the biggest win, 9-1 against Wigan. I do remember this season Chelsea smashing Aston Villa 8-0 and beating I think they beat Wigan 7-0 and somebody else as well 7-0. So they were absolutely caning teams left, right, and centre. Loads of goals flying in for Chelsea. Great season. As I say, most goals so far in the Premier League era up to that point, 2009-10. We're now going into the 2010s period. The first season of the 2010s was 2010-11 season. And no surprise, guess who's popped back up there again after losing last year by 1 point? It's Manchester United. They're back there again. Boo! No, only joking. Manchester United, under their fantastic manager Alex Ferguson, just had this habit every time that some team would come and take over, like say Arsenal in the past or Chelsea or even Blackburn on that one season. They'd come back the following year after a few seasons or the following season and come back and take the title back off. So you've got to admire their mental toughness and strength. This season, it was equal top goal scorers. Dimitar Berbatov of Tottenham had 20 goals. Carlos Tevez of Manchester City had 20 goals. So Carlos Tevez was scoring a lot of goals. He'd scored 43 goals in the last 2 seasons. That's excluding cup goals as well. So really making his mark. This season, though, as I say, Manchester United won the title with 80 points in first. They were 9 points clear of Chelsea and Manchester City, who were both finished on 71 points, although Chelsea had a superior goal difference by, they had a goal difference of 36. Manchester City had a goal difference of 27. So by 9 goals difference, they were just ahead of Manchester City. So in fourth was Arsenal. Just outside in fifth was Tottenham. So there's a little bit of a pattern emerging over the last few seasons. You see in Arsenal and Tottenham sort of fighting out for that fourth place. But yeah, the teams that got relegated that season were Birmingham in the 2010-11 season was Birmingham City, Blackpool, and West Ham. Important thing to note that I noticed from the previous season, 2009-10, was that Birmingham finished 10th and that Birmingham had the longest unbeaten run, which was crazy. They finished ninth last season in the 2010, not even getting it right, 9-10 season. But then they find themselves getting relegated the season after. So sometimes it happens, a team can finish ninth. We've seen it more recent times with Leeds United and Sheffield United on that second season, where Leeds United nearly went down last season in the 2021-22 season, but only just stayed up. But we saw it with Sheffield United, where they finished their first season in 8th, and the next season they got relegated. So it can be tough. Do you know what I mean? Teams start to work teams out, in the second season. But anyway, focusing back on 2010-11, the biggest transfer of the season, and it caused the most controversy, was Fernando Torres leaving Liverpool to go to Chelsea for 50 million to help keep Chelsea's momentum going to try and win the title. Obviously, it didn't work. They lost out by 9 points, but um, they were making the effort, Chelsea, to keep going and keep challenging all those other teams around. Obviously, the Man Uniteds, the Arsenals, etc. And even an emergence now, more progress was happening this year for Manchester City. They finished in third. As I say, Arsenal finished fourth and Tottenham finished fifth. But it's important to note that Manchester City are starting to rise, and you can see that them getting closer and closer to winning their first Premier League title. So the biggest win of the season, Manchester United won 7-1. No surprise there as they finished top, winning the league. Longest winning run was 5 games back by Chelsea. Longest unbeaten run was 24 games by Manchester United. Longest losing run was by Bolton, Blackpool, West Bromwich Albion, and West Ham, who all lost 5 games on the bounce. And then highest attendance, Man United again, blah, blah, blah. 75,486 against Bolton Wanderers. Lowest attendance, Wigan again, 14,042 against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Average attendance for the season was 35,190. We had even more goals this season, 1,063 goals in the 2010-11 season in 380 games, an average of 2.8 goals per game. So that was the facts and figures for that. Gareth Bale was voted PFA Player of the Year for 2010-11. PFA Young Player of the Year was Jack Wilshere coming through at Arsenal. Goal of the season was Wayne Rooney's goal out the overhead kick from the corner, the crazy one that we all know, all the true fans know. Manchester United against Manchester City in the derby when Manchester United won 4-3. I believe Michael Owen got a dramatic last-minute winner in that game. So look at that. We'll go into the team of the season for 2010-11. The team of the season was Edward van der Sar of Manchester United in goal, the back four of Bakary Sagna from Arsenal, Nemanja Vidic, Vincent Kompany from Manchester City, Ashley Cole from Chelsea, Nani from Manchester United, Samir Nasri of Arsenal, Jack Wilshere obviously coming through of Arsenal, Gareth Bale of Tottenham Hotspurs at the time, Carlos Tevez of Manchester City, and Dimitar Berbatov, who had moved from Tottenham, obviously, over the last few seasons to Manchester United. So that made a big improvement. Dimitar Berbatov, like I say, was joint top goal scorer with Tevez that season. So yeah, very impressive campaign. And after a season of losing it to Chelsea, Manchester United got back on track again. I'm going to do more episodes. We're going to get right up to date to the 21-22 season that has just finished recently. So I'm going to do another episode which will cover under 3 seasons of review, and I'll do that on the next one. Have a great week. As I always say, keep liking and subscribing. Tell your friends and family about us. Going to do more content. We're going to go more into the history of teams over the seasons. In fact, if people want to even put comments down of their team that's played in the professional leagues, if they want me to talk about any particular season, let me know and I'll do my research and I'll get straight on with it for you. Have a great week. All the best. Bye for now.